I mean, if this is a tunnel, it's an aha moment.
Yeah.
It'd be huge.
It is huge.
It means that there might have been something that Mr. Ball chose to keep secret.
I think we're all quite excited that it could be this so-called flood tunnel booby trap system. Of course, we're going to investigate. We have to see what it looks like.
100 feet beneath an island that has drained fortunes, challenged modern technology, and outlasted generations of treasure hunters, something was waiting. In Season 13, Episode 16, the team encountered something they weren't fully ready for. This wasn't debris. It wasn't just another strange geological reading, and it definitely wasn't one of those vague signals Oak Island has been famous for. Clues that keep everyone guessing, but never quite deliver answers. What they found at that depth was different. It had form. It had edges. It had intention. This was something placed there on purpose, designed to stay hidden for a very long time. When the data came in, when the scans confirmed what no one wanted to say out loud, the room changed. Rick Lagina went silent. Marty Lagina just stared at the screen. In that moment, both of them understood the same thing. This wasn't just another clue. This wasn't another piece of the puzzle. This was something bigger, something that could completely change the direction of the entire investigation. Welcome back. Today we're diving deep, literally and figuratively, into Season 13, Episode 16 of The Curse of Oak Island. This is the episode everything has been building toward, even if no one realized it at the time. It's the moment where years of drilling, scanning, theorizing, and pushing through setbacks finally converge, 100 feet underground, into something that can't simply be dismissed. We're going to break down what they discovered, why it matters, and why some researchers now believe this could be the most significant structural find in Oak Island's 200-year history. Stay with me, because what's hidden below the surface might completely reshape what we think we know about the island. To really understand the impact of this moment, you have to look at how Season 13 was set up from the beginning. Nothing about this discovery is random. Every decision, every adjustment and strategy, it all led here. This season started differently. The team was more focused, more precise than ever before. Instead of spreading their efforts across multiple theories and locations like in earlier seasons, they zeroed in on one key target, the T1 shaft. They committed to it fully, investing time, resources, and energy with a clear belief. They were digging in the right place, but the island didn't make it easy. From the start, the T1 shaft pushed back. Collapsing casings threatened the dig. Unexpected rock layers blocked progress. At one point, a near cave-in reminded everyone just how dangerous this operation really is. This wasn't dramatic TV. This was real risk. Working at that depth with unstable ground and the constant threat of flood tunnels, every move mattered. Still, alongside the challenges came something else: signals. The scan data coming from T1 wasn't like anything they had seen before. There were anomalies, patterns that didn't match natural geology. In any other situation, it would have been quickly labeled as man-made. But this is Oak Island, where false leads have fooled people for centuries. So the team stayed cautious. They noted the data. They kept digging. They waited for proof. And that proof finally came in Episode 16, at 100 feet. The mood in this episode is different. There's a quiet intensity, a sense that something important is close. The team isn't rushing. They're being careful, deliberate. They know this could be it. They bring everything to the table: compressed air systems, high-pressure extraction tools, advanced scanning equipment. This isn't guesswork. It's a full-scale, coordinated effort driven by confidence in the data. As they dig deeper, the readings begin to shift. Around 80 feet, something changes. The data hints at a difference, subtle but noticeable. By 90 feet, it becomes clearer. The scans start revealing edges. Not jagged, random shapes like natural rock, but clean, consistent lines. Structured, intentional, and then, at 100 feet, it becomes undeniable. The signal sharpens. The room goes quiet. Someone finally says it. You can see that it's hollow. And then comes the part that changes everything. It keeps going in there. Think about that for a second. A hollow space. At 100 feet, extending further. After more than 200 years of searching, digging, and coming up empty, Those words carry serious weight, because if what they're seeing is real, then this isn't just another discovery. This could be the breakthrough. Every expedition that came before this moment, every dollar spent, every shaft drilled, every dangerous descent, suddenly feels like it was leading here. Because when they say it keeps going, that changes everything. This isn't a small pocket in the earth or a natural cavity. This is a space with scale, a void with depth, structure, and purpose, stretching beyond what their tools can fully capture. What the team reached at 100 feet isn't random, it's built. The scan results don't show chaos or scattered debris. They reveal clean lines, defined edges, a layout that makes sense. This is organized space, the kind you only get when someone designs it. Corners meeting at angles, a base that holds firm, a ceiling that has endured centuries of pressure from above. This is a chamber that was created, sealed, and intentionally left behind. Now, think about what that actually means. Building something like this, 100 feet underground, hundreds of years ago, would have taken serious effort. We're talking about excavating deep into the earth, reinforcing walls so they don't collapse, shaping internal chambers, and then sealing everything in a way that could survive time, water intrusion, and repeated attempts to uncover it. That's not guesswork, that's planning at a high level. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing, and honestly, that level of precision lines up perfectly with what has always made the Oak Island mystery so fascinating. The flood tunnel system alone, channels designed to pull in seawater and flood any deep excavation, is not something thrown together by chance. That's engineering, careful, calculated, and deliberate. It shows an understanding of geology, water movement, and long-term durability. And now, the structure found at 100 feet fits right into that same pattern. This wasn't built in a hurry. It's part of something bigger, a system designed to endure. But here's where things take an even more intense turn. As the team studies the chamber and tries to map out what they've uncovered, the scanners pick up something else, from inside the structure itself. And this is the moment everything shifts. Metal, not iron, not steel, nothing that would suggest modern contamination. This is non-ferrous metal, the kind associated with materials like copper, bronze, even gold, metals that don't rust away, metals that can sit underground for centuries and remain intact. And when that signal comes through, the entire room goes silent. Because a non-ferrous reading inside a sealed man-made structure at that depth, that's not something you can explain away. That's not nature doing something unusual. That means someone put it there. Someone carried it down, placed it carefully, and then built an entire protective system around it, layer by layer, to make sure it stayed hidden. And that raises a massive question. What could possibly be valuable enough to justify all of this? Think about the scale of effort, the manpower, the materials, the planning. You don't go to those lengths for something ordinary. You don't build something this complex just to hide something replaceable. You do it to protect something that matters, something worth preserving at all costs. As the signal holds steady, one of the team finally says what everyone is thinking. It looks like gold. And just like that, the mystery shifts again. For over 200 years, the big question has always been, is there something buried here? Now, that question feels answered, so the focus changes. Who built this? When did they build it? And why go to such extraordinary lengths to hide whatever is inside? Season 13 has already been dropping clues pointing in a specific direction. Earlier finds, a possible 1500s-era pickaxe, engineered stone features in unexpected locations, and that carefully laid cobblestone pathway in the swamp, all suggest something important. These weren't random discoveries. They hint at planning, movement of heavy materials, a coordinated effort. Put all of that together, and a picture starts to form. This wasn't a small, desperate crew working in secret for a few days. This was a sustained operation, organized, funded, and executed by people who knew exactly what they were building and why. That's why the long-standing theories, groups like the Knights Templar, the Knights of Malta, or even early explorers operating outside official history, keep coming up. Whether or not any of them are correct, they all have one thing in common. They had the resources, they had the knowledge, and they had the reason to build something like this. Because let's be real, this isn't the work of pirates. Pirates didn't construct flood tunnels. They didn't engineer deep underground vaults with sealed chambers and preserve metal inside. They buried treasure quickly and hoped to come back for it. What the team is dealing with here is something entirely different. Whoever built this, they weren't just hiding something. They were designing a system meant to keep it hidden. Whatever was built beneath Oak Island wasn't temporary. It wasn't meant to be stumbled upon by chance. This was something designed to last, something intended to remain hidden unless the right conditions were met, or maybe never discovered at all. And the fact that it stayed concealed for over 2 centuries says everything about how well it was constructed. Now think about where this leads. If that metal signal inside the structure really traces back to materials used in the medieval era, and Season 13 is starting to point strongly in that direction, then Oak Island stops being just a local mystery. It becomes something much bigger. It turns into a site with global historical importance, evidence, potentially, of early transatlantic activity, advanced engineering, and deliberate concealment on a scale that could challenge what we think we know about early history in North America. And that changes the conversation completely. Historians and archaeologists who once kept their distance from Oak Island might not be able to anymore. A discovery like this demands attention. It demands serious study. But beyond the data, beyond the theories, there's something else in Episode 16 that hits just as hard, the human side of it all. Rick Lagina has always talked about the one thing, not necessarily gold or treasure in the traditional sense, but one undeniable piece of proof, something real, something that confirms that everything connected to Oak Island isn't just legend, but history waiting to be uncovered. That idea has driven him for years, and in this moment, standing in front of clear evidence of a sealed structure 100 feet underground with a non-ferrous metal signal inside, it feels like he's finally reached it. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't react loudly. He just goes quiet. Not the kind of silence fans are used to after another dead end, but a different kind entirely. The kind that comes when something you've believed in for years suddenly becomes real. The kind of stillness that comes with finally arriving at the place you've been chasing. Marty Lagina responds in his own way, and it's just as powerful. Where Rick is emotional and reflective, Marty is analytical. He studies the data, breaks it down, runs it through that engineer's mindset he's known for. He's always been the one to question everything, to slow things down and ask, are we sure this is what it looks like? But this time, the data holds up. The structure is there. The void is real. The metal signal is strong and consistent. And when both brothers, coming from completely different perspectives, arrive at the same conclusion at the same time, that's when you know this moment is different. This is what Episode 16 represents. Alignment. 13 seasons of effort. 2 very different approaches to the same mystery. And finally, both paths meet in the same place. And it's not just them. The entire team earned this moment. They pushed through cave-ins, collapsing shafts, impossible ground conditions. Challenges that would have stopped most operations long ago. This wasn't just persistence. It was persistence backed by skill, strategy, and belief, when belief wasn't easy. So, here's what Episode 16 really gives us. A sealed structure 100 feet underground, clear in form, deliberate in design. A hollow space that extends further than current tools can fully map, hinting at something larger than a single chamber. A non-ferrous metal signal inside that structure, something that cannot be explained by natural causes, and 2 brothers standing in front of it all, finally where they always believed they would be. For over 200 years, Oak Island has been the mystery that almost revealed itself, the puzzle that stayed just out of reach. It gave just enough clues to keep people searching, and just enough resistance to stop them from finishing the job. But this episode shifts that pattern, not because it answers everything. Oak Island is far too complex for that, but because it gives something undeniable, something solid, something real, something with structure, something with depth, something that keeps going. The story doesn't end here. Mysteries like this don't wrap up in a single episode, especially one that's been building for centuries. But Episode 16 marks a turning point. The question is no longer, is there something buried here? Now it's, how big is it? How old is it? And who built it, and why? That shift from searching for proof to investigating something confirmed is everything. It's what Rick has been chasing all along. It's what generations before him came close to, but never fully reached. And it's what Oak Island has been holding on to, 100 feet below the surface, waiting for the right people to finally get there. So, now I want to hear from you. What do you think is inside that structure? Treasure? Artifacts? Something history hasn't even recorded? And after everything we've seen, do you think the team is finally close enough to reach it? Until next time, whatever lies 100 feet beneath Oak Island isn't going anywhere. It's been waiting for centuries. And now, for the first time, we might finally be catching up to it.